Hi folks, I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. If you've been to a shopping mall parking lot lately, you probably recognize our 2013 Toyota Highlander. It's one of the most popular crossover SUVs in its class. It sells against vehicles like the Ford Explorer, the Nissan Pathfinder, and the Honda Pilot. It's very popular. But does it do more than hang out at shopping mall parking lots and take kids to soccer games? Let's find out. While the Highlander is a car-based crossover, it breaks from recent trends and has styling that's more related to Toyota's tough trucks than their cars. It's got a muscular front face and bulging flared fenders that make it look very much at home out here in the wild. The silhouette is still conservative, as you'd expect from Toyota. Simple lines and a more masculine stance than some of its competitors gives the Highlander a bit more SUV credibility, and 8 inches of ground clearance with 22 degrees of approach angle back up the look. The interior too is simple in its design, no wild stylistic overtures here. The dash is laid out in an upright fashion which gives a traditional SUV feel. Seats are high enough to give you a commanding view over the hood, but you don't feel perched on top of this vehicle. Our limited Highlander came with leather trimmed seats, steering wheel, and shift lever. The 8-way power driver's seat even had adjustable thigh support, which made tailoring to both large and small drivers a breeze. Fit and finish are second to none all around the cabin, with trim and grab points having a solid button-down feel that's not far from more expensive brands. The simulated wood grain trim makes no large effort to appear real, but is handsome nonetheless. Our tester had the most recent version of Toyota's new Entune-enabled touchscreen navigation system, which isn't as intuitive as we'd like. Trying to get to the navigation and entering addresses requires a number of menu-level steps that require a learning curve, not as direct as some competitors. The 9-speaker JBL sound system, however, sounded as good as you would expect. The rear seat area gets its own set of controls for the HVAC and has generous room for 3 passengers. Rear seats can adjust fore and aft, and the backs also recline. Its squared-off rear flanks allow for 3-row seating for a total of 7 passengers. The third row is split 50-50, which is good, as when the seats are up, cargo capacity is virtually eliminated. The second row seats fold down with a 40-20-40 split. When down, they allow for a large flat cargo hold that can swallow up quite a bit. The third row seat also offers enough legroom to be credible for adults. Second row seats tumble forward for a relatively easy entry and exit. The pull levers are located so rear passengers can get themselves out on their own if need be. Fully loaded at nearly $41,000, however, I really felt it was missing a number of features its competition now offers for the same money. These include things like radar-based driver aids such as lane keeping assistance and cruise control, ventilated seats, and a panoramic roof. Though the Highlander looks like a truck-based SUV, it drives just as smoothly and refined as a sedan. The chassis is well-tuned and solid, giving a premium feel behind the wheel around town and on the highway. Being mid-sized, it's easy to maneuver in crowded spots and isn't likely to intimidate most drivers when angling for a tight parking space. A backup camera makes getting back out all the much easier. Road noise is hushed, and the powertrain is as sewing machine smooth as they come. Toyota's venerable 3.5-liter V6 with 270 horsepower churns quietly under the hood, delivering that power through a 5-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy for our all-wheel drive Highlander is rated at 17 miles per gallon city, 22 miles per gallon highway, and 19 miles per gallon combined. We averaged about 21 miles per gallon combined in our week of testing. Not bad. We expect if it had a more modern 6-speed automatic transmission, it could do even better. With all-wheel drive and reasonable approach angles, we took the Highlander out to our testing ground to see how well it articulates over moguls and more challenging terrain. The suspension and chassis was well composed and did well on the unpaved surfaces. Okay, now one test I've got here I like to do is to go up a little mogul that I've got here where it gets 2 wheels off the ground to see how well the all-wheel drive system does on traction. Woo! We got 2 wheels in the air, and the system is not redirecting torque to the wheels that do have traction. But we have a snow mode button down here, so I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to back down a little bit, and we're going to give it another shot and see if that helps out any. Even though this isn't snow, it is sand, and sometimes these things will do wonders. Groovy. For 2014, the Highlander does get an all-new redesign and will have a completely new all-wheel drive system that I expect will offer up a more dynamic traction characteristic than this one. Well, you know, the 2013 Toyota Highlander shows that it remains a solid competitor in the field. By most area of measures, it's still at the top of its class. The only area where I start to question it is when it comes to value for the money. And by that I mean many of its competitors, they come out with new revised models that have more feature content for the money. Therefore, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride. If you'd like a more detailed review and photo galleries, log on to activityvehicle.com.